What is going on, all you Pokemon collecting maniacs out there? This is Ryan, the PikiPikaPapa, and here we are continuing our series where we look at some different eras from the Pokemon sets, right? Like we're talking Scarlet Violet, Sword and Shield, Sun and Moon. I even have a video on XY coming out really soon. And we look at how the different products within them have performed. So we're going to look at the top 20 singles cards from all of these sets. We look at booster boxes, elite trainer boxes. We even look at booster packs. And that's because what I've found is as we continue to build this library of content, where we're looking at how different sets and different eras have performed month over month. It's just another tool in our tool belt, right? I'm always saying you work hard for your money and so do I. So when we're spending our Poke funds, I want us to be playing chess when everybody else plays checkers. And these are the kind of videos that help us keep a finger on the pulse of the market as a whole. And it has been really fun to do this so far. And I'm excited to continue. Now, I did debate a bit if I should do Scarlet and Violet simply because it's so new. But guess what? We're a third of the way through Scarlet and Violet. I know that's crazy to say. There's been like 4 million product launches. But guess what? Year number 1 is done. We have 2 more years ahead of us, and then we're going to be into whatever next awesome set there is. So having this from the very beginning, since we weren't able to track Sword and Shield from the very beginning, I think tracking Scarlet and Violet is going to be really valuable for us in the long run. So with that being said, this is how Scarlet and Violet has performed month over month. So from October to November, the top 20 cards and all of the sets that are in here went from $1,514 in value down to $1,448 in value. Negative 4.8% month over month. Now, that's not a big drop in terms of dollars, and when you think of it from a percentage standpoint, that is right in line with Sword and Shield. Sword and Shield was down 3.6% month over month. Now, I don't think that says anything about Scarlet and Violet's strength, to be honest with you. I think it just goes to show how the broader market is feeling the pinch. I mean, think about all of these cards in Scarlet and Violet. They're in the middle of the Pokemon pop and flop. We all know they come out, they start off strong, and then they drop off as more and more product is ripped. That's just part of it. But then you compound that with the fact that the overall market is correcting right now. Like, there's a lot of pressure on these Scarlet and Violet cards, which means there might be some awesome buying opportunities in the near future. I'm still not buying any singles now. I think Scarlet and Violet still has a ton of stuff to be ripped here, especially with all the Black Friday deals, especially with all of the stuff that's going to happen in the next couple months. But it's really interesting to see how these singles prices chart over time. And again, negative 4.4% month over month. I don't think that's a big deal compared to the broader market. And then when you look at the booster boxes, and yes, I have UPC value in here as well because I got 151 on here. And instead of doing elite trainer boxes, which I have the prices for, I decided to use the ultra premium collection in comparison to the booster boxes here. So that's what I did. And when you think about the total value here, they went from $401 for one of each down to $387. Again, not a big surprise, but we got be hitting the bottom here at some point for some of these booster box prices. They're just getting insanely low, and I'm telling you right now, at the price point now, some of these are just hard to pass up on. Like I'm really focused on Sword and Shield. I think there's a ton of Sword and Shield booster boxes right now that are poised to pop off in the near future, so I'm not really concentrating on Scarlet and Violet, but the prices are getting so low that it's becoming harder and harder for me to ignore. Now, with that being said, here are the top 20 cards from Scarlet and Violet base, Paldea Evolved, as well as the booster box, PC ETBs, regular ETBs, all that good stuff. Now, my takeaway from this was the Miriam and Iono cards, the 2 big chases from both of these, continue to feel the squeeze. And the other thing that I thought was a really interesting comparison here is that Magikarp card from Paldea Evolved continues to go up. It's up 6%. So despite the broader softening in the market, despite the fact that the booster box prices are coming down, and there's a ton of red on here, look at that Magikarp card. Now, I think the Iono card is absolute fire. I don't think the Magikarp is going to overtake it for the #1 spot, but we have seen a lot in the past where the #1 card that comes out, you know, when the set first launches, this is the big chase card. Rarely does that end up being the #1 card in the long run. We did a view of Sun and Moon and we looked at it. We looked at all 12 of the sets. I think there was only 2 or 3 cards that made the whole run where they started off as the #1 chase card and they ended as the #1 chase card today. So could the Iono get dethroned in the future, you know, when it comes out of rotation and it's not quite as playable as it is today? I don't know. That's not my thing. I'm not big in the TCG game space, but I will say this, that Magikarp continues to show a lot of strength. Now, the other thing that I thought was really cool to me is look at all of the green in or Scarlet and Violet base. Isn't that fascinating? Like, I continue to think of Scarlet and Violet base kind of like a falling knife, right? Like, booster boxes are still coming down. That Miriam card is now below $30. Like, but when I pulled this data and I look at it from its totality, like, it was really interesting to see it's only down 2% month over month, which isn't a lot, again, considering all of the downward pressure this set is feeling from being a new set to the overall market. Like, it was interesting for me to see that, and I can't wait to watch how this set performs over the next couple months. The other thing, and I've said this again, Paldea Evolved booster boxes seem to be some of the best value in the Scarlet and Violet era right now. A lot of people have been talking about it, yet it doesn't seem to change. The booster boxes are still relatively cheap compared to the value of the content that's in there. You'll see down at the below in the yellow, I do this average versus booster box ratio. In the past, it has been a really strong indicator of future booster box price performance, and it's just the ratio of the top 20 card value versus the booster box price. And you see that it's at 22.5% for Paldea Evolved, which is just about as high as you're going to see. It's absolutely crazy. So these are a couple things that I'm really keeping my eye on. And again, any booster box in the $90 range, just when I think about over the next 3, 5, 10, 20 years, I mean, what a great entry point for some of these booster boxes that have an MSRP of $164. Now, MSRP doesn't really mean a whole heck of a lot. That's just what the company says you should sell it for. So the fact that you can get these at $90 right now, I think is a great opportunity, and you can do far worse with $90 than buying any of these booster boxes right now. Now, switching over to Obsidian Flames and Pokemon 151, and I kind of alluded to this earlier. The question in my mind is, can 151 maintain its momentum through Black Friday, which we've all been a part of? There's been tons and tons and tons of awesome deals on Pokemon 151 during Black Friday, and then that means that there's going to be a ton of this product that is going to be open and ripped on Christmas. Even if people didn't take the Black Friday deals, I guarantee you Pokemon 151 is on a ton of people's Christmas list. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, there's going to be a lot of it that's sold. I assume that a lot of it will be ripped, end of December, early January. So I'm waiting until February. I think in February, we'll be able to say, hey, listen, can 151 really hold its water against all this pressure that's going to get from all this awesome ripping and all these awesome deals that are out there right now? Now, Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes continue to be home run. They really do. I don't know what else to say. Every single one that we've seen that's come out so far, has given us almost a 30, 40, 50% return as soon as it launches, because they've been selling out on the Pokemon Center and they have not been restocking. Now, I know that the latest ones, I know Paradox Rift has been in stock for a little bit longer than they have been in the past. Who cares? I don't care, right? When I'm thinking about, again, a 3, 5, 10-year time horizon, they will eventually sell out, and Pokemon, at least up to this point, hasn't shown that they're going to restock them. So I think in the long term, they're going to hold a ton of value. I know Roaring Moon just came out of stock, so we'll have to see if Iron Valiant follows in suit shortly after. But I will say this, Roaring Moon seems to be the more popular of the two, so not surprised to see that one sell out right off the bat. Now, Obsidian Flames is a set that's not getting a ton of love out there, even though it's a Charizard set. In my mind, I'm like, hey, is this Darkness Ablaze 2.0, right? Darkness Ablaze obviously was the very first Charizard set that came out in Sword and Shield, and you can still to this day get booster boxes of that for less than $150. Now, I think the artwork in Obsidian Flames is much better than Darkness Ablaze. Obviously, there's more Charizards in it. I think Obsidian Flames has a lot of upside compared to Darkness Ablaze, but we're going to have to see, because there's not a lot of strength, and again, these prices are just going to continue to fall. So who knows where Obsidian Flames is going to end up? Who knows if it's going to be more Darkness Ablaze or if it's going to be able to find its feet along the way? But I will say this, they certainly are printing a ton of those Charizard cards. So we will all have to wait and see. And then here we are, of course, with the newest set, Paradox Rift, right? We don't have anything to compare it to. We'll have to wait to next month to see how these prices change. But we all should feel pretty confident that maybe not all of them, but a lot of them are certainly going to come down, simply because that's just the cycle. It comes out, it gets ripped, prices come down. But these were some of the interesting things that I made note of. So if you take out 151, 0 sets thus far have a chase card over $100. As much as I love that Iono and as bullish I am for that long-term price perspective, it's still in the $83 range right now. Now, also, only 3 cards so far are over $50, and 2 of those cards are from Paldea Evolved, right? The Magikarp and the Iono. So the question is, when you look at all of these prices in Paradox Rift, is there any cards on this list that you think are better than those 2 cards? Are there any ones on here that you think have the wherewithal? The other one is the Charizard from Obsidian Flames. So are any of these, do you think, in that league? Because if you don't think they're in that league, then you can set $50 as a price point, saying, hey, listen, I know that they're going for $103, $57, $41, $35 right now, but they've probably got some room to drop down. Now, as I said before, the Roaring Moon Pokemon Center exclusive ETB is sold out. Iron Valiant is still up, so I'm keeping a close eye on how long that stays in stock, but the reality is I've got 2 cases of each variant. I'm super happy with it, and I think in the long run they're going to be fantastic buy and holds. And again, I'm just going to continue to hammer this home. I think any booster box in the $90 range is a great long-term investment. I will also say in the exact same sentence that as much of a great investment as I think think that is. I think there are some opportunities now that aren't going to be around much longer. I'm about to do, my targets for next month. I do that every single month. So when I share with you what I'm going after in December, there's going to be a whole lot of sealed Sword and Shield product on there, simply because I think that some of these booster boxes, the Fusion Strike, the Lost Origin, Chilling Reign, Brilliant Stars, I just think that our window of opportunity to get those at sub MSRP prices is going to continue to close as time goes on. So that's where I'm spending my money. But I also have to say, under 90 bucks for a booster box, hard to beat. So listen, if you guys found value in this and you made it to the very end, hit that subscribe button. We do fun stuff like this all the time. This is a continuing series, and I love sharing this information with you. If you like what you saw, give us a thumbs up. Questions or comments, drop them down below. And as always, I hope you all have an epic one. Thanks, everybody. Bye.